Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Hub. Today's story is one of my favorites.
Picture this, Seattle, 2023. Rain-soaked streets reflecting neon coffee shop signs. The Space Needle piercing through morning fog like a silver needle through gray silk. I'm rushing down Pine Street, my laptop bag bouncing against my hip, checking. My phone for the 100th time today. Not for work calls or client emails, though God knows I have plenty of those, but for a message from someone I've never met. Someone who calls herself Stardust Dreamer. I'm Claire Patterson, by day professional event planner, corporate smile, perfectly pressed blazers. I'm the kind of woman who can coordinate 1,000-person conference without breaking a sweat. But at night, I transform into Rainbow Pixel, an anonymous LGBTQ blogger with a following that would make my corporate clients weep with envy. The irony isn't lost on me. By day, I organize events for tech companies run by straight white men who think diversity means having one woman on their panel. By night, I pour my heart out to a community that actually sees me, really sees me. And lately, there's been one person in that community who's been seeing me more than most. Narrator, voice softening, her messages started innocuously enough. A comment on my post about coming out later in life. A private message about navigating workplace dynamics as a queer woman. But somewhere between discussing the loneliness of being closeted in corporate America and sharing our dreams about finding authentic love, something shifted. Her words weren't just reaching my mind, they were reaching something deeper. Something I've been protecting for years. I duck into my usual coffee shop, Grind Central, where the barista knows my order by heart. Oat milk latte, extra shot, no foam. While I wait, I pull out my phone, and there it is, a notification that makes my heart skip. Stardust Dreamer, morning, beautiful. I dreamed about you again last night. We were at some conference together, and I kept trying to find you in the crowd, but every time I got close, you disappeared. Weird, right? Maybe my subconscious is telling me something. My fingers hover over the keyboard. 6 months of messages, and I still get butterflies every time she calls me beautiful. 6 months of philosophical discussions about love, fear, authenticity, and the future. 6 months of falling for someone I've never seen. Rainbow Pixel, maybe. Your subconscious is trying to tell you that we should finally meet. I know we've talked about it, but I delete the message before sending it. Too forward, too needy, too real. Instead, I type, dreams have a way of preparing us for reality. Maybe the universe is dropping hints. Narrator, the universe, right? If only I knew how cosmically twisted the universe's sense of humor could be. I'm still staring at my phone when it buzzes with a work call. Claire Patterson, Patterson Events. I answer, slipping into my professional voice like a well-worn mask. Claire, thank God, it's Marcus from Tech Vision. We need to talk about the keynote speaker. Tech Vision, the conference I've been planning for 8 months. The one that's supposed to be my big break into the high-stakes world of Silicon Valley events. The one that's happening in 3 weeks and has been giving me stress dreams for months. What about the keynote? I ask, though I'm already dreading the answer. She's young, she's brilliant, she's absolutely perfect for her audience. Dr. Iris Green. She's been doing incredible work on how technology can foster authentic human connections. The kind of stuff that makes investors cream their pants and activists actually respect us. I'm scribbling notes while trying to balance my phone and collect my latte from the increasingly impatient barista. Sounds great. What's the problem? The problem is she single quotes S. particular about everything. The stage setup, the lighting, the audience demographic. She wants to meet with the event planner personally before she commit to anything beyond the basic presentation. My stomach drops. Not because of the diva behavior, I've dealt with worse, but because something about the name. Iris Green is tugging at a memory I can't quite place. When does she want to meet? Today. Her assistant will send you the details. Claire, don't screw this up. This woman could make or break our reputation. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone, my latte growing cold in my hands. Something about this feels like more than coincidence, but I can't put my finger on what. My phone buzzes again. A message from Stardust Dreamer. You know what? You're right about the universe. I have this feeling that something big is about to happen. Like the stars are aligning for something beautiful. Narrator, if only I'd known she was talking about the same stars I was about to crash into. 2 hours later, I'm standing in the lobby of the Grand Hyatt, smoothing down my blazer and trying to project confidence I absolutely don't feel. The thing about being an event planner is that you're always performing for clients, for vendors, for the universe itself. You're the swan on the lake, serene on the surface, paddling frantically underneath. Today I'm paddling hard enough to power a small city. I checked my phone one more time. Still no response from Stardust Dreamer to my last message about hoping we'd meet someday. The silence feels heavier than usual, like the universe is holding its breath. Claire Patterson? I look up and the world tilts sideways. Standing in front of me is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in person. She's probably in her early 30s, with dark hair that catches the lobby light like spun silk, eyes the color of storm clouds, and a smile that could power the entire hotel. She's wearing a simple black dress that somehow looks both professional and devastatingly attractive, and when she extends her hand, I notice her nails are painted a subtle rainbow gradient. I'm Dr. Iris Green, she says, and her voice, oh God, her voice. Narrator, have you ever had a moment where reality rearranges itself around you? Where the puzzle pieces you didn't even know you were collecting suddenly snap into place with an almost audible click? Her voice is warm honey over gravel, with just a hint of nervous laughter underneath. It's the voice I've been imagining for months. The voice that's been whispering sweet nothings into my dreams. The voice that belongs. T.O. Stardust Dreamer, I whisper before I can stop myself. Her eyes widen, and for a moment, we just stare at each other. I can practically see the same recognition dawning in her expression, the same shock, the same impossible realization. Rainbow Pixel? She breathes. Narrator, and just like that, my carefully constructed double life collapses like a house of cards in a hurricane. We're standing in the middle of a busy hotel lobby, business people streaming around us like we're rocks in a river, and all I can think is, I'm about to have a panic attack in front of the most important client of my career, who also happens to be the woman I've been falling in love with for 6 months, who I've never seen, who I've shared my deepest secrets with, who is staring at me like I'm a ghost. I start, but she cuts me off. The conference room, she says quickly. We need to talk, privately. She leads me through the lobby with the kind of confident stride that suggests she's used to being followed, and I trail behind her like a lost puppy, my mind racing. This is impossible. This is a cosmic joke. This is a disaster. I mutter under my breath. What? She asks, pausing at the elevator. Nothing. Just processing. The elevator ride is the longest 30 seconds of my life. We stand on opposite sides of the small space, stealing glances at each other like teenagers. When the doors open, she guides me to a small conference room and closes the door behind us. For a moment, we just look at each other, really look. I'm cataloging every detail, the way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous, the slight freckle on her left cheek, the way her eyes crinkle when she almost smiles. So, she says finally, this is awkward. I laugh, a sound that's half hysteria and half relief. Awkward doesn't begin to cover it. I mean, what are the odds? She sits down across from me, and I notice she's fidgeting with her bracelet. 6 months of messages, and it turns out you're my event planner. Your event planner who's been dot dot dot, who's been dot dot dot. Falling for me, she finishes gently. Heat floods my cheeks. I was going to say getting to know you, but yeah, that too. Narrator. This is the moment where, in movies, the music swells and the leads fall into each other's arms. But real life is messier than movies. Real life has professional obligations and power, dynamics, and the uncomfortable reality that I know this woman's deepest fears and biggest dreams, while she knows mine. And we're supposed to work together. Claire, she says, and the way she says my real name, sends shivers down my spine. I need you to know that everything I told you online, it was all true, every word. Even the part about, especially the part about falling for someone I'd never met. She leans forward and I catch a hint of her perfume something floral. And clean that makes me want to close my eyes and breathe her in. The question is, what do we do now? Narrator, what do we do now? It's a simple question with an incredibly complicated answer. Because sitting across from me isn't just Stardust Dreamer, the woman who's been making my heart race for months. She's also Dr. Iris Green, the keynote speaker who could make or break my career. She's my client, my crush, my professional responsibility, and my personal obsession all wrapped up in one impossible package. And she's looking at me like I'm the answer to a question she's been asking for years. I don't know, I admit. I've never been in this situation before. Neither have I, but Claire. She reaches across the table and touches my hand, and it's like an electric shock. I don't want to pretend I don't know you. I don't want to go back to being strangers. Her thumb traces across my knuckles, and I'm hyper aware of every point of contact. 6 months of imagining what her touch would feel like, and the reality is so much more intense than I ever dreamed. We could dot dot, I start, then stop. This is crazy. What? We could try to keep it professional, just focus on the conference, ignore everything else. She's quiet for a long moment, studying my face. Is that what you want? Narrator, is that what I want? To pretend that the woman who's been my emotional anchor for months is just another client? To ignore the fact that seeing her face has made every conversation we've ever had suddenly vivid and real? To act like I'm not imagining what it would feel like to run my fingers through her hair? No, I whisper, it's not. Then what do you want? I really look at her, and for the first time in months, I tell the complete truth. I want to get to know you. Not just Rainbow Pixel getting to know Stardust Dreamer. Claire getting to know Iris. I want to see if this thing between us is real. And the conference? We'll figure it out. We're both professionals. We can handle this. Narrator. Famous last words, right? We can handle this. As if navigating the intersection of professional responsibilities and personal feelings has ever been simple. As if working with someone you're attracted to doesn't come with its own unique set of complications. But sitting there, looking at her smile, I genuinely believed we could pull it off. I believed we could have our cake and eat it too. I should have known better. Okay, she says, and her smile could power a small city. Let's try this. But Claire, if we're going to do this, we need to be honest with each other about everything. Everything, everything. No more hiding behind screen names. No more pretending we don't know each other's secrets. If we're going to explore this, we do it with our real names and our real faces. I nod, even though the thought terrifies me. Deal. She stands up and extends her hand again, but this time it's not a professional handshake. This time, when I take it, she doesn't let go. Hi, she says softly. I'm Iris Green. I'm a tech researcher, a keynote speaker, and apparently I'm falling for my event planner. Hi, I reply, my voice barely above a whisper. I'm Claire Patterson. I'm an event planner, a closeted blogger, and I'm definitely falling for my client. Narrator. And just like that, we crossed a line that would change everything. But at that moment, holding her hand in a conference room overlooking Seattle's skyline, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. It felt like coming home. That night, I meet my best friend Lena at our usual spot, a dimly lit queer bar called the Wild Rose, where the drinks are strong, the music is loud, and everyone knows everyone's business. Lena's already claimed our corner booth, two whiskey sours waiting on the table like amber promises. You look different, she says before I've even sat down. Different how? Glowy, like you just got laid or won the lottery. She narrows her eyes. Please tell me you didn't sleep with a client. I slide into the booth across from her, grateful for the dim lighting that might hide my blush. I didn't sleep with anyone. But, narrator, this is the thing about having a best friend who's known you since college. They can read you like a book with large print. Lena and I have been through everything together. Coming out, bad breakups, career changes, family drama. She's seen me at my worst and my best, and she has an uncanny ability to know when I'm about to make a spectacularly bad decision. But I met someone, I admit, the mysterious Stardust dreamer. She leans forward, interest piqued, finally ready to tell me about your online girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend, she's... I take a sip of my drink, grateful for the liquid courage. She's my keynote speaker. Lena blinks, once, twice. Come again? Remember the Tech Vision conference I've been planning? The one that's supposed to be my big break? Well, the keynote speaker is Dr. Iris Green, who is also apparently Stardust. Dreamer. Holy shit. That's what I said. Well, not exactly what I said, but the sentiment was there. Lena takes a long pull from her drink, processing this information. Okay, so your online crush is your client. That's actually kind of romantic in a cosmic fate kind of way, right? That's what I thought too. So, what's the problem? Narrator, what's the problem? Where do I even start? The problem is that I've been sharing my deepest secrets with someone who now holds my professional future in her hands. The problem is that I can't tell if what I'm feeling is real attraction or just the fantasy I've built up over 6 months of messages. The problem is that I'm terrified of screwing up both my career and my heart in one fell swoop. The problem is that I don't know if I can trust my own judgment. I say, I've been falling for a fantasy, Lena. What if the real Iris isn't who I think she is? What if she is? What if she's not? Lena reaches across the table and takes my hand. Claire, honey, you've been talking to this woman for 6 months. You know her hopes, her fears, her dreams. That's not a fantasy. That's a real person. A real person who could destroy my career if this goes south. Or a real person who could be the love of your life, narrator, the love of my life. The phrase hangs in the air between us like a balloon I'm afraid to grab, because what if I reach for it and it pops? What if I'm building this up into something it's not? Tell me about meeting her, Lena says. What was it like? I close my eyes, remembering. It was like, you know, that moment in movies where the music swells and everything goes into slow motion. It was like that, but also like getting hit by a truck. Recognition and shock and attraction all at once. And she's beautiful. Not just attractive beautiful. Like intimidatingly beautiful. The kind of woman who makes you forget how to form sentences. Did you forget how to form sentences? I whispered her screen name the second I heard her voice. Lena laughs, a sound that cuts through the bar's ambient noise. Oh, you've got it bad. I know, that's the problem. That's not a problem, Claire. That's life happening. Narrator, life happening. Such a simple way to describe something that feels monumentally complicated. But maybe that's what this is, just Life messy and unexpected and beautiful in its chaos. There's something else, I say. We decided to explore this. Whatever this is, explore how. We're going to get to know each other, the real versions of ourselves. See if what we have online translates to real life. Lena's quiet for a moment, studying my face. And the conference? We'll figure it out as we go. Claire, her voice has shifted, become more serious. I love you, and I want you to be happy. But I need to ask you something, and I need you to really think about the answer. Okay. R, you sure you can handle this, professionally and personally? I want to say yes immediately. I want to project confidence and competence and the kind of self-assurance that would make Lena stop worrying. But the truth is, I'm not sure about anything. I think so. I say finally. I hope so. And if you're wrong, if this implodes spectacularly, narrator, it's the question I've been avoiding all day. The worst case scenario that keeps flashing through my mind like a neon warning sign. What if I fall for her completely and she decides the professional complications aren't worth it? What if we get involved and she realizes I'm not who she thought I was? What if, what if, what if? Then I'll deal with it, I say. But Lena, I can't not try. I've been hiding behind safe choices my whole life. Maybe it's time to take a risk. Just ... She squeezes my hand. Promise me you'll be careful. With your heart and your career. This could be amazing, but it could also be a disaster. I promise. But even as I say it, I know it's a promise I might not be able to keep. Because when you're falling, really falling careful becomes a luxury you can't afford. Narrator, we spend the rest of the night talking about other things, her new girlfriend, my family, the latest drama in our friend group. But underneath the normal conversation, there's a current of anticipation. Like we're both waiting for something to happen, even though we're not sure what. At closing time, Lena walks me to my car, the Seattle streets glistening with that perpetual Pacific. Northwest drizzle that makes everything look like a movie set. Claire, she says as I'm unlocking my door. You know I'm here for you, right? Whatever happens. I know. And you know I think you deserve to be happy. I know that too. Good, because I have a feeling this is going to be a wild ride. Narrator, a wild ride. If only she knew how wild it was about to get. 3 days later, Iris texts me. There's a street festival in Capitol Hill this weekend. Live music, food trucks, the whole 9 yards. Want to go? As friends getting to know each other, obviously. Obviously, I text back, even though my heart is doing gymnastics at the thought of seeing her again. Narrator, the Capitol Hill Street Festival is one of those quintessentially Seattle events that makes you remember why you fell in love with the city in the first place. Local bands play on makeshift stages, food trucks line the streets, selling everything from Korean BBQ to artisanal ice cream. And the whole neighborhood comes alive with the kind of energy that makes you believe in community. I find Iris near the main stage, wearing jeans and a vintage band t-shirt that somehow makes her look even more beautiful than her professional attire. She's holding 2 cups of coffee and has a smile that could melt glaciers. You made it, she says, handing me one of the cups. Did you think I wouldn't? I thought you might change your mind. Come to your senses about the professional complications. I take a sip of the coffee perfect, just how I like it, and realize she must have remembered my order from our messages. The small gesture hits me harder than it should. Did you want me to come to my senses? I ask. God, no. I've been looking forward to this all week. Narrator, and just like that, we fall into step together, wandering through the festival like we've been doing this for years. We sample food from different trucks, argue about which band is better, and laugh at the street performers who juggle flaming batons with questionable skill. It's easy. Surprisingly, wonderfully easy. So I say as we're sharing a plate of pad. Ty from a truck called Bangkok Express. Tell me something I don't know about you. Something Rainbow Pixel doesn't know about Stardust Dreamer. Something Claire doesn't know about Iris. She's quiet for a moment, twirling noodles around her fork. I wanted to be a dancer when I was a kid, like seriously. I took classes for 8 years and had dreams of joining a company. What happened? Reality. My parents convinced me that tech was a more stable career path. They weren't wrong, but sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd been braver. Do you ever dance anymore? Sometimes when I'm alone in my apartment and the music is just right. She looks at me sideways. What about you? What does Claire want that Rainbow Pixel has never mentioned? Narrator. It's a good question. What do I want that I've never admitted, even to my anonymous online persona? The answer comes to me with startling clarity. I want to stop hiding, I say. I want to be the same person in every room I enter. I'm tired of compartmentalizing. My wife, that's why you started the blog? That's why I started the blog. But it's also why I'm here with you, even though it's complicated. She reaches across the table and touches my hand, just like she did in the conference room. It doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't it? We're two adults who are attracted to each other. The rest is just logistics. Narrator, logistics. I love that she can distill something that feels monumentally complex into something that sounds manageable. But before I can respond, the band on the main stage starts playing something slow and dreamy, and couples begin swaying together in the space in front of the stage. Dance with me, Iris says suddenly. Here, in front of everyone? Why not? You just said you want to stop hiding. She's right, but that doesn't make it less terrifying. Dancing with her in public where people can see us feels like crossing another line. But when she stands and extends her hand, I don't hesitate. Narrator, dancing with someone you've been following for online is surreal. I know her thoughts, her fears, her dreams, but I don't know how she moves. I don't know if she leads or follows, if she's graceful or awkward, if she holds you close or maintains respectful distance. Iris, it turns out, is a beautiful dancer. She moves with a kind of confidence that comes from years of training, even if she left that dream behind. And she holds me close enough that I can feel her heartbeat, close enough that I can smell her perfume, close enough that when she speaks, her breath tickles my ear. This is nice, she murmurs. It is, Claire. Yeah? I need to tell you something. My heart stutters. What? I've been thinking about kissing you since the moment I saw you in that hotel lobby. Narrator, the world goes quiet. Not actually quiet, the music is still playing. People are still talking. The festival is still happening around us. But everything else fades until it's just us, swaying together in the middle of a crowd, her words hanging in the air like a promise. Just thinking about it, I ask. Obsessing about it, if I'm being honest. And what's stopping you? She pulls back slightly so she can look at me. Nothing, I guess. Except the fear that once I kiss you, I won't be able to stop. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe it's not. Narrator, the kiss happens slowly like we're moving through honey. She cups my face with one hand, her thumb tracing my cheek, and I can see the exact moment she makes her decision. Her eyes flutter closed, and then her lips are on mine, soft and warm and perfect. It's not a tentative first kiss. It's not a testing the waters kiss. It's a claiming kiss, a this is what I want kiss. A kiss that tastes like coffee and possibility and the promise of something more. When we break apart, I'm breathless and dizzy and completely, utterly lost. Wow, I whisper. Yeah, wow. Narrator. We stay like that for a moment, foreheads touching, breathing each other's air. Around us, the festival continues, but we're in our own bubble, our own world where nothing exists except the space between us. So, she says finally. What happens now? Now, now we figure out how to make this work. The conference is in 2 weeks. I know. And we just crossed about 15 professional boundaries. I know that too. Any regrets? I really look at her, and realize that despite the complications, despite the professional risks, despite all the rational reasons this is a terrible idea, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Not a single one. I say good, she says, and kisses me again. Because I'm pretty sure I'm falling in love with you, Claire Patterson. Narrator, falling in love. The words should terrify me, but instead they feel like coming home. Like the missing piece of a puzzle I didn't know I was trying to solve. I'm pretty sure I'm falling in love with you too, Iris Green. And in that moment, surrounded by music and laughter and the gentle chaos of a Seattle street festival, I genuinely believe that love will be enough. That we can navigate the professional complications, that we can make this work, that we can have everything we want. I should have known that the universe was about to test that belief in ways I never could have imagined. The call comes at 7 a.m. on a Monday, 2 weeks before the conference. I'm barely awake, stumbling around my apartment in search of coffee, when my phone rings with a number I don't recognize. Claire Patterson. The voice is crisp, professional, with an edge that makes me instantly alert. Yes, this is Rebecca Martinez from Morrison PR. We represent several of the sponsors for the Tech Vision conference. I think we need to talk. My stomach drops. Morrison PR is one of those high-powered firms that handles crisis management from major corporations. The kind of place that gets called when CEOs are caught in scandals, or when companies need to manage their image after a major fuck-up. About what? About your relationship with Dr. Iris Green, and about some very interesting online personas that have recently come to our attention. Narrator, the world tilts sideways. My coffee mug slips from my hands, shattering on the kitchen floor in a spray of ceramic and caffeine. Because there's only one way Rebecca Martinez could know about Rainbow Pixel and Stardust Dreamer, and it's not good. I don't know what you're talking about, I say, but my voice cracks on the lie. Claire, let's not play games. You and Dr. Green have been seen together multiple times over the past 2 weeks. Very cozy, very intimate. And a concerned party has brought it to our attention that you might be the same Rainbow Pixel who's been writing rather explicit content about LGBTQ relationships. Explicit content? I want to laugh at the description, but I can't breathe. Rainbow Pixel's blog isn't explicit, it's honest. It's vulnerable. It's everything I am when I'm not hiding behind professional masks. What do you want? I ask. I want to meet today to discuss how we can manage this situation before it becomes a problem for our clients. And if I refuse, then I'll be forced to share some very interesting screenshots with the Tech Vision board of directors, and with Dr. Green's university, and with several industry publications that would be very interested in a story about professional impropriety. Narrator, this is what terror feels like. Not the adrenaline rush terror of a roller coaster or a horror movie, but the slow, creeping terror of watching your life unravel in real time. The terror of realizing that someone else holds the power to destroy everything you've worked for. 1 hour, I say. Send me the address. The line goes dead. I sink onto my couch, my mind racing. How did they find out? How did they connect? Rainbow Pixel to Claire Patterson? And who is the concerned party who brought this to their attention? I should call Iris. I should warn her. But first, I need to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Narrator, Morrison PR's offices are in a gleaming downtown high-rise, the kind of building that screams money and power and the ability to ruin lives with a single phone call. Rebecca Martinez meets me in a conference room that overlooks Elliott Bay, her smile as sharp as her tailored suit. "Thank you for coming," she says, gesturing to a chair across from her. "I know this must be concerning. What exactly do you want?" "Straight to the point. I like that." She opens a tablet and slides it across the table. These are screenshots from Rainbow Pixel's blog. Quite compelling writing, actually. Very authentic. I look at the screen and see my own words staring back at me. Posts about coming out, about dating while closeted, about the fear and exhilaration of falling for someone online. They're not explicit, but they're deeply personal. They're pieces of my soul laid bare for the world to see. "And these," she continues, swiping to a new screen, "are photos of you and Dr. Green at the Capitol Hill. Street festival, kissing, dancing, looking very much like a couple." The photos are grainy, clearly taken from a distance with a telephoto lens, but there's no mistaking what they show. Iris and me lost in each other, completely unaware that we were being watched. "Who took these?" I ask. "That's not important. What's important is that our clients are very concerned about the optics of having their keynote speaker involved in a personal relationship with the event planner, especially when that event planner has been writing about LGBTQ relationships online. There's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ. Of course not. But there's everything wrong with professional impropriety and with the appearance of conflicts of interest, narrator, professional impropriety." The words taste like ash in my mouth because that's how they're going to frame this. Not as two people falling in love, but as a scandal, a professional failing, a reason to destroy both our careers. "What do you want?" I ask again. It's simple. End the relationship, publicly. Make it clear that there's nothing between you and Dr. Green beyond a professional arrangement. Continue to plan the conference, but maintain appropriate boundaries. And if I don't, then these photos and blog posts get released to the press, along with a narrative about how the Tech Vision conference was compromised by personal relationships and unprofessional behavior. Narrator: I stare at the photos on the tablet, at the evidence of the happiest moment I've had in years, now being used as a weapon against me. This is what I was afraid of. This is why I've spent years hiding, compartmentalizing, keeping my professional and personal lives separate. I need time to think, I say. You have until tomorrow. Make the right choice. Claire, for both of your sakes. I stand to leave, but her voice stops me at the door. "Oh, and Claire? Dr. Green is receiving a similar visit from my colleague today. I'd recommend you don't discuss this with her. It will only make things more complicated." Narrator: I walk out of that building feeling like I've been hollowed out. Like someone reached inside me and scooped out everything that mattered, leaving behind only the shell of a person. The Seattle streets that usually feel like home now feel foreign, hostile, like they're conspiring against me. My phone buzzes. A text from Iris. We need to talk. Something's happened. My hands shake as I type back. I know. My place in an hour? Yes, that Iris arrives at my apartment looking like she's been through a war. Her usual composed demeanor is cracked. Her eyes red-rimmed, her hands shaking as she accepts the cup of tea I offer her. They know, she says without preamble. About the blog, about us, about everything. I know, I'd have the same visit. What did they want? For us to end this. To pretend there's nothing between us. She laughs, but it's not a happy sound. They threaten to go to the university, to the press, to destroy my reputation and my research funding. Narrator: We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of our situation settling between us like a physical thing. 2 weeks ago, we were falling in love. Now we're casualties in someone else's war. Who do you think is behind this? I ask. I have a theory. Dr. Marcus Webb, the conference director. He's been that persistent in his interest in me, professional and otherwise. When I turned him down, he didn't take it well. You think he's trying to eliminate the competition? I think he's trying to eliminate me. If I'm embroiled in a scandal, I can't give the keynote. If I can't give the keynote, the conference loses its star speaker, and he can blame it on my unprofessional behavior. Narrator, it makes a sick kind of sense. Men who can't handle rejection often resort to destruction. If Marcus can't have Iris, he'll make sure no one can. And if he can destroy my career in the process, even better. So what do we do? I ask. I don't know. The logical thing would be to end this now. Protect our careers, minimize the damage. Is that what you want? She looks at me with eyes that are fierce and sad and beautiful. What I want is to tell Rebecca Martinez and Marcus Webb and everyone else who thinks they can manipulate us to go fuck themselves. What I want is to stand up at that conference and tell the world that yes, I'm in love with my event planner. And yes, I'm proud of who I am. But I'm not the only one who would suffer. Your career, your reputation, your safety, all of it would be at risk. I can't ask you to sacrifice everything for me. Narrator, this is the moment. The crossroads. The choice that will determine not just our future together, but who we are as individuals. Do we choose safety or authenticity? Do we choose our careers or our hearts? What if you didn't have to ask? I say quietly, what do you mean? What if I volunteered? What if I chose you, knowing the risks? Claire, you don't understand. They'll destroy you. They'll make sure you never work in events again. They'll drag your name through the mud and make your life hell. Maybe, or maybe, we fight back. Maybe we refuse to be victims. Narrator, I can see the exact moment she realizes what I'm suggesting. Her eyes widen, her breath catches, and for a second, I see hope flicker across her face before fear smothers it. You're talking about going public, voluntarily. I'm talking about taking control of the narrative. Instead of letting them blackmail, you us into silence, we tell our story, on our terms. That's incredibly risky. Everything worth doing is risky. She stands and walks to my window, looking out at the Seattle skyline. You know what the worst part is? I've spent my entire career studying how technology can foster authentic human connections, how it can help people find each other and build real relationships. And when I finally experience it myself, I'm supposed to pretend it didn't happen. You don't have to pretend anything. But if we go public, if we fight back, there's no guarantee we'll win. They have resources, connections, power. What do we have? Narrator, what do we have? It's a fair question. We have each other, but that might not be enough. We have the truth, but truth doesn't always win. We have love, but love doesn't pay bills or protect careers. But we also have something else. Something that occurred to me while I was listening to Rebecca Martinez's threats. We have an audience, I say. What? Rainbow Pixel has 50,000 followers. People who trust me, who've been following my journey, who believe in authentic relationships. What if we tell them the truth? What if we let them decide whether this is a scandal or a love story? She turns from the window and I can see the wheels turning in her mind. You want to come out as Rainbow Pixel? I want to come out as everything. Rainbow Pixel, your girlfriend, someone who refuses to be blackmailed into hiding who she is, and the conference. We use it, we turn it into a platform. Instead of letting them destroy us, we tell our story. We show them that authentic connections online and offline are something to celebrate, not hide. Narrator, for a moment, she just stares at me. Then she crosses the room and kisses me, fierce and desperate and full of decision. Are you sure about this? She asks against my lips. I'm terrified, I admit, but yes, I'm sure. Then let's do it. Let's fight back. Narrator, That night, we work until dawn, crafting a plan that's part love letter, part manifesto, and part strategic attack. We write blog posts, prepare statements, and reach out to allies in the LGBTQ plus community and the tech world. By the time the sun rises over Seattle, we've made our choice. We're going to war. The day of the conference arrives like a storm front, dark, electric, and full of possibility. I'm standing in the wings of the main stage, watching the audience file in, when my phone buzzes with a text from Lena. Ready to change the world? As ready as I'll ever be, I text back. The plan is simple in theory, terrifying in practice. Iris will give her keynote as scheduled, but instead of the prepared remarks about technology and human connection, she's going to tell our story. Then, I'll join her on stage, and together we'll reveal the truth about Rainbow Pixel, Stardust Dreamer, and the love story that brought us together. We've prepared for the fallout. Lawyers are standing by. Allies in the press have been briefed. Our friends and family have been warned. But none of that changes the fact that in about 30 minutes, we're going to voluntarily detonate our carefully constructed professional lives. Claire, Iris appears beside me, looking stunning in a midnight blue dress that makes her eyes look like stars. How are you feeling? Like I'm about to throw up. You, same, but also excited. Is that weird? If it's weird, we're both weird. Narrator, the conference hall is packed. 1,500 people from the tech industry, all expecting to hear about the future of digital communication. They have no idea they're about to witness something completely different. Marcus Webb takes the stage to introduce Iris. His smile is fake as his concern for professional ethics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Iris Green, whose research on authentic digital connections has revolutionized how we think about technology and human relationships. The audience applauds as Iris walks to the podium. She looks confident, composed, like she's done this 1,000 times before. But I can see the slight tremor in her hands, the way she takes a deep breath before she begins. "Thank you," she says, her voice carrying clearly through the hall. "I'm supposed to talk to you today about how technology can foster authentic human connections. But instead, I want to tell you a story about how technology fostered one very specific authentic human connection, mine." A murmur runs through the audience. This isn't what they expected. 6 months ago, I was lonely. Despite my research, despite my understanding of digital communication, I was struggling to find genuine connection in my own life. So I did what millions of people do every day: went online. I created a persona called Stardust Dreamer, and I started talking to people in LGBTQ plus spaces. The murmur gets louder. I can see Marcus Webb in the front row, his face purple with rage. I met someone there, someone who called herself Rainbow Pixel. She was funny and smart and vulnerable in ways that made me feel less alone. We talked for months. We shared our fears, our dreams, our hopes for the future. And slowly, without ever seeing each other's faces, we fell in love. Narrator, the audience is completely silent now. You could hear a pin drop in that massive hall. Iris has their complete attention. The beautiful irony is that Rainbow Pixel turned out to be the woman who was planning this very conference. The woman who made this moment possible. The woman who, despite knowing it could destroy her career, chose to stand up for authentic love. She pauses, looking directly at me in the wings. "Claire Patterson, would you join me on stage?" Narrator, this is it, the moment of truth. I can hear my heartbeat in my ears as I walk onto the stage, the lights bright enough to blind me. 1,500 faces staring at me, waiting to see what happens next. Iris takes my hand as I reach the podium, and the simple gesture sends a wave of gasps through the audience. "This is Claire," Iris says, event planner by day, Rainbow Pixel by night. The woman who's been writing about LGBTQ plus experiences with a honesty and vulnerability that has touched thousands of people. The woman who fell in love with a stranger online and discovered that stranger was me. I step up to the microphone, my voice shaking slightly. Hi, I'm Claire Patterson, and I'm terrified. I'm terrified because I'm about to tell you something that could end my career. I'm terrified because I'm about to reveal something I've kept hidden for years. But I'm also excited because I'm about to tell you about the most authentic relationship I've ever experienced. Narrator. The words come easier once I start. I tell them about the blog, about the community I found online, about the freedom of being able to express my true self without fear of professional repercussions. I tell them about falling for someone I'd never met, about the magic of connecting with another person's mind and heart before ever seeing their face. Some of you might think this is a scandal, I say, a professional impropriety, a conflict of interest, but I think it's something else entirely. I think it's proof that authentic connections can happen anywhere, anytime, in any format. Online, offline, in chat rooms, in conference halls, in the space between two people who choose to be vulnerable with each other. Iris squeezes my hand. We're standing here today because we refuse to be ashamed of finding love. We refuse to let other people define what's appropriate or professional when it comes to authentic human connection. And we refuse to hide who. We are to make other people comfortable. Narrator. The silence stretches for what feels like forever. Then from somewhere in the back of the hall, someone starts clapping. Slowly, others join in. Within seconds, the entire audience is on their feet, applauding not just for our presentation, but for our courage. I look out at the sea of faces and see something I didn't expect. Acceptance, support, people who understand that love stories don't always follow conventional paths. But I also see Marcus Webb, storm-faced and furious, speaking urgently into his phone. I see a few people in suits who look like they're from Morrison PR, taking notes and photos. The war isn't over just because we won this battle. Thank you, Iris says into the microphone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for believing that authentic love deserves to be celebrated, not hidden. As we walk off stage together, hand in hand, I catch sight of Lena in the audience. She's crying and smiling and giving me 2 thumbs up, and I know that whatever happens next, we made the right choice. Narrator. The aftermath is immediate and intense. Within hours, our story is trending on social media. Hashtag Rainbow Pixel Love becomes a hashtag. News outlets pick up the story. The response is overwhelmingly positive, but there are also critics, trolls, and people who think we're attention-seeking narcissists. But for every negative comment, there are 10 positive ones. People sharing their own stories of online connections. People thanking us for being brave. People celebrating the idea that love can happen anywhere, anytime, in any format. 6 months later, I'm standing backstage at a sold-out theater in Portland, adjusting Iris's mic pack and trying to calm my pre-show nerves. Our speaking tour, how we fell in love online and made it real, has been more successful than we ever imagined. You ready for this? I ask. Are we ever ready? She replies, but she's smiling. You know, I never thought I'd be grateful to Marcus Webb for anything, but his blackmail scheme gave us the best origin story ever. The best and most terrifying origin story ever. The best things usually are. Narrator. The tour has been a revelation. We've spoken to audiences across the country about digital authenticity, online relationships, and the courage it takes to be vulnerable. We've met couples who found each other in gaming communities, dating apps, and social media platforms. We've heard stories that would make you believe in the power of human connection in all its forms. But the most surprising thing has been how the experience has deepened our own relationship. Working together, traveling together, sharing our story night after night has created a bond that goes beyond attraction or compatibility. We've become true partners in every sense of the word. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer says, please welcome Claire Patterson and Dr. Iris Green. We walk onto the stage together, and I still get butterflies every time I see a friendly audience. Tonight's crowd is particularly enthusiastic. Lots of young people, lots of couples, lots of people who understand that love doesn't always follow traditional paths. Good evening, Portland, Iris says, and the audience cheers. We're here tonight to talk about something that most people think is impossible, falling in love with someone you've never met. But before we get started, I have a confession to make. She turns to me and I see something in her eyes that makes my heart skip. Claire, you know how I always said I wanted to be a dancer when I was younger? Yes. Well, I lied. I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be on stage, connecting with people, telling stories that mattered. I thought I'd given up that dream for a more practical career. What are you saying? I'm saying that sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Sometimes it takes your abandoned dreams and gives them back to you in ways you never expected. Narrator. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small velvet box, and the audience goes absolutely silent. My heart stops. Claire Patterson, aka Rainbow Pixel, aka the woman who taught me that authentic love is worth fighting for, she says, dropping to one knee. Will you marry me? Narrator. The world goes quiet. Not the kind of quiet where you can still hear background noise, but the kind of complete silence that happens when time stops. I'm aware of the audience holding its breath, of the stage lights hot on my face, of Iris looking up at me with hope and terror and love in her eyes. Yes, I whisper, then louder, yes. The audience erupts as she slides the ring onto my finger. It's beautiful, a simple band with a small diamond, but engraved on the inside are two words, stardust and rainbow. Really? She asks, standing up and kissing me. Really? But you know this means we're going to have to update our presentation. I think the audience will forgive us. Narrator. We spend the rest of the evening talking about our journey, taking questions from the audience, and celebrating with people who understand that love stories don't always follow conventional paths. But the moment that stays with me is when a young woman in the front row raises her hand. I've been talking to someone online for 3 months, she says. We have this amazing connection, but I'm scared to meet her in person. What if she's not who I think she is? Iris and I look at each other, and I can see the same thought in both our minds. This is why we're here. This is why we chose to fight, back instead of hide. The truth is, I say, she might not be exactly who you think she is. People are complex, and we all present different versions of ourselves online. But if you've been talking for 3 months, if you've shared real thoughts and feelings, then you know something important about her. You know her heart. And hearts don't lie, Iris adds. They might be more complicated than we expect, but they don't lie. Narrator. After the show, we're sitting in our hotel room, both of us too wired to sleep. Iris is curled up next to me, playing with my new ring, and I'm thinking about how much our lives have changed in the past year. Do you ever regret it? I ask, choosing to fight back instead of staying safe. Never, do you? Never, but I do wonder sometimes what would have happened if we'd made different choices. We'd probably be miserable, she says. Successful, maybe, but miserable. Always wondering what if. And now we're about to get married. We have a speaking tour that's booked solid for the next 6 months, and we get to spend our time helping other people find the courage to be authentic. I'd say we chose well. Narrator, I kiss the top of her head, breathing in the scent of her shampoo, and think about the journey that brought us here. From anonymous online personas to keynote, speakers to engaged couple, it's been a wild ride. But the most amazing part isn't the external success. It's the fact that we get to be ourselves completely and authentically in every room we enter. We don't have to compartmentalize our lives or hide our relationship or pretend to be someone we're not. We get to be Claire and Iris, formerly Rainbow, Pixel and Stardust Dreamer, two women who fell in love online and decided to make it real. Narrator, 2 years later, I'm standing in the same hotel where we first met, preparing for another Tech Vision conference. But this time, I'm not the nervous event planner trying to manage a difficult client. This time, I'm the co-keynote speaker, preparing to address an audience about the power of authentic digital connections. The conference industry has changed since our story broke. There's more awareness of LGBTQ plus issues, more emphasis on authentic relationships, more recognition that love and professional success aren't mutually exclusive. We'd like to think we played a small part in that change. Iris finds me in the green room, looking stunning in a new suit that matches her wedding ring. Yes, we got married in a small ceremony in Capitol Hill, surrounded by friends and family and the community that supported us through everything. Ready? She asks. Always when I'm with you. Good answer. Narrator, we walk onto the stage together, and I'm struck by how different this feels from that first terrifying moment when we chose to reveal our story. Now it feels natural, right? Like we were always meant to be here together, sharing our experience with people who need to hear it. 2 years ago, Iris begins, we stood on a stage not far from here and told you about falling in love online. We talked about the power of authentic connection, about the courage it takes to be vulnerable, about the magic that can happen when two people choose to share their real selves with each other. Today, I continue, we want to talk about what happened next, about the collaboration that emerged from that connection, about the ways that authentic love can change not just your personal life, but your professional life, your community, your entire world. Narrator, we spend the next hour talking about our journey, about the speaking tour that became a book deal, about the nonprofit we started to help LGBTQ plus youth find community online. We talk about the challenges and the triumphs, the moments of doubt and the moments of absolute certainty. But mostly, we talk about the power of choosing authenticity over safety, connection over convenience, love over fear. The question we get asked most often, Iris says toward the end of our presentation, is whether we recommend online dating, whether we think it's possible to really know someone through a screen. And our answer is always the same, I add. It's not about the medium. It's about the authenticity. Whether you meet someone online or in person, in a chat room or a coffee shop, the foundation of any real relationship is the willingness to be genuinely yourself. The technology didn't make us fall in love, Iris says. Our willingness to be vulnerable did. The technology just gave us the platform to share that vulnerability. Narrator, after the presentation, we're surrounded by people sharing their own stories. A couple who met in a gaming community, a woman who found her wife through a book club forum, a man who connected with his husband through a support group chat. Each story is different, but they all have the same theme. Authentic connection is possible anywhere, anytime, when people choose to be real with each other. Excuse me? We turn to see a young woman, probably in her early 20s, holding a phone and looking nervous. I just wanted to say thank you, she says. I've been following Rainbow Pixel's blog for years, and your story gave me the courage to come out to my parents. They didn't take it well at first, but now Now they're here with me tonight. She gestures to an older couple standing nearby, both of them smiling and nodding. We're proud of her, the woman says, and we're grateful to you for showing us that love comes in many forms. Narrator, moments like these remind us why we chose to fight back instead of hide, why we decided to turn our personal story into a public mission, why we continue to speak out about the importance of authentic connection in an increasingly digital world. Later that night, we're back in our hotel room, both of us tired but happy. Iris is reading emails from people who attended the presentation, and I'm scrolling through social media, watching our story ripple out into the world once again. Look at this, she says, showing me her phone. A woman in Texas says she's finally going to meet her online girlfriend in person. She's been scared for months, but our talk convinced her to take the leap. And look at this, I reply, showing her my screen. A guy in Portland says he's going to start a support group for LGBTQ plus youth who are navigating online relationships. He wants to use our story as an example of how it can work. Narrator, these are the moments that make everything worth it. The knowledge that our story, our choice to be authentic, to fight back, to refuse to hide, is helping other people find the courage to do the same. You know what the best part is? Iris asks, setting down her phone and curling up next to. What? We're not just helping other people find love. We're helping them find themselves. We're showing them that being authentic isn't just about relationships, it's about life. And we're living proof that it works. The best kind of proof. Narrator, as I drift off to sleep that night, I think about the journey that brought. Use here. From anonymous bloggers to keynote speakers, from secret online personas to public advocates, from two lonely women to a married couple, changing the world one authentic connection at a time. I think about the scared event planner who stood in a hotel lobby 2 years ago, terrified of what would happen if people discovered her secret life. I think about the woman who chose safety over authenticity, who compartmentalized her life into neat little boxes. That woman is gone. In her place is someone who knows that authentic love is worth fighting for, that genuine connection is possible anywhere, and that the most powerful force in the world is the courage to be yourself. Narrator, some love stories start with a chance. Meeting in a coffee shop. Others begin with a swipe right on a dating app. Ours started with two anonymous strangers sharing their hearts across the digital divide. But all love stories, the real ones, the ones that last, the ones that change you, have one thing in common. They require the courage to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to choose connection over self-protection. We chose connection. We chose authenticity. We chose each other. And in the end, that choice didn't just change our lives, it changed our world. My name is Claire Patterson, formerly Rainbow Pixel, and this is the story of how I kissed my best friend and ended up with the collaboration of a lifetime. Narrator, voice soft, full of warmth. Love stories don't always follow the script. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that dare to be different, that choose authenticity over safety, that prove that real connection can happen anywhere, anytime, when two people are brave enough to be genuinely themselves. This is one of those stories. And if you're listening to this, wondering if you have the courage to reach out to that person you've been talking to online, or to be honest about who you really are, or to choose love over fear, remember that every great love story starts with a single moment of bravery. What's your moment going to be?